It began on a rainy Friday night, the kind where the world outside feels distant and unwelcoming. I had always trusted my wife, Elizabeth, with everything, my heart, my secrets, my life. But over the past few months, something had shifted. Her smile no longer carried warmth, her laughter sounded forced, and the intimacy we once shared had dissolved into mechanical exchanges. A gnawing unease settled in my chest. I knew something was deeply wrong. One evening, while Elizabeth was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. It wasn't in my nature to pry, but an inexplicable urge pushed me to glance at it. My hands shook as I unlocked the screen, guilt washing over me before I even read a word. What I found shattered me. Messages, unmistakably intimate, confirmed my worst fears. Elizabeth was seeing someone else, a man named Paul. Their conversations were filled with secret rendezvous, flirtations, and declarations I had believed were ours alone. My stomach turned icy, sweat prickling my skin. How could she betray me, the woman I had loved, the person I had trusted completely? Days passed and I kept my knowledge to myself, pretending everything was normal. I listened to her lies about late nights at work or outings with friends, each excuse stabbing me deeper, yet I remained silent, biding my time as I tried to figure out my next move. Then, a dangerous thought crept in, one that felt both wrong and strangely liberating. Elizabeth had a sister, Sarah, who had always been close to us. She was compassionate, warm, and in recent years had become more than just a sister-in-law to me, a confidant, a friend. She had no idea about Elizabeth's betrayal, and I knew she would be devastated if she ever learned the truth. One evening, I invited Sarah over under the pretense of needing support. Elizabeth was out with Paul, and when Sarah arrived, I poured us drinks and led her into the living room. The air was thick with tension, charged with unspoken thoughts. Concern filled her eyes as she asked gently what was wrong. Slowly, I revealed everything: Elizabeth's affair, the lies, the heartbreak. Sarah's face went pale as shock set in. She reached out instinctively, her touch tender, and in that moment the weight of shared pain drew us closer. One thing led to another, and before either of us could stop it, we found comfort in one another, tangled in the solace of shared betrayal. It wasn't planned and it wasn't right, but in that moment, it felt like reclaiming a shred of control over a life that had been upended. Suddenly the front door swung open. Elizabeth returned, soaked from the rain, her face still flushed from what I could only imagine had been an intimate encounter with Paul. Her expression froze as she took in the scene before her. Her husband entwined with her sister. Keys clattered to the floor, and her mouth opened and closed as though the right words had vanished. The silence was crushing. For the first time the roles had reversed. Elizabeth was now forced to face the consequences of her choices. I stood, my voice steady but firm. Elizabeth, I know about Paul. I've known for a while. What hurts most isn't just what you did, it's that you never thought about how this would affect us. You shattered everything we built. I don't know what comes next, but it's clear we're beyond saving. Tears welled in her eyes, not anger, only regret, and the crushing awareness of what she had lost. Sarah, still stunned, quickly gathered her things and left, unable to process the whirlwind of emotions. The damage had been done, leaving Elizabeth and me to confront the ruins of our marriage. We sat in silence for hours, numb and drained. Eventually, Elizabeth broke down, her sobs raw and unrelenting. But I could not comfort her. The trust between us had been obliterated, and the love that once held us together was now nothing more than a painful memory. In the days that followed, we agreed to separate. Elizabeth moved out, and the process of divorce began. A messy, agonizing end, but the only path forward. Sarah apologized profusely, and though we had crossed an unthinkable line, I could not hold her entirely accountable. We were both caught in the aftermath of Elizabeth's betrayal, victims of circumstances we had never asked for.